Welcome to Cannabis School. I'm your host, Jesse Angeles.
And I'm Brandon Elder.
And we're here to talk to you about everything pertaining to cannabis, from vape,
flower,
edibles,
strains,
and everything in between. Hey, welcome back, kids. Another Cannabis School. We're going to be talking about a topic we touched on a while ago.
A long time ago.
About a couple of years ago.
It's been a hot minute, yeah.
And it was hot coming out. And a lot of people talked about it.
Everyone was creating products with...
And it might have been around before that, but at the same time, on a mass scale, this is when it really started hitting.
Well, I think that it's probably the insurgency of it was recent, because before then, it naturally occurs in such low doses, but it doesn't occur in any high percentage. So any high percentage has been an isolated compound that's come out of altering a CBD isolate.
Yeah, so today we're talking about is Delta-8 and our beef with it. And the big thing on that one, what Brandon was just going in, is that when you get concentrates from cannabis, our lovely plant here, marijuana, classified by the DEA, when you use that, when you extract it, most of the time people are going to be able to get like a CO2 extraction, which is still probably by far the safest. But at the same time, it's not using two different types of chemicals, which are acids and... What else do they use?
Well, they use like butanes and...
Acids and solvents.
Yeah, in order to process that, to get it out. So, and no matter what, there's usually always some percentage of solvent left in it. It's just how much of that percentage. And oftentimes, like, you'll see the marketing around Delta-8, and it'll go, oh, this is like diet weed. And it's really not. It's like semi-synthesized THC.
It's like drinking RC Cola when you got Coca-Cola. And I don't even like soda, but you know, when you're taking like a low rent, very tasteless, it's not what you're looking for. That's Delta-8. To me, I don't know if it is to you.
This is the first time in a long time that I will have pinched a bowl.
Oh,
because I forgot the little tool over there, and I just didn't want to get all the way up.
Well, it's all the way over there.
It feels so weird. Like, it's been a hot minute since I've like pinched flour like this after it's been ground.
So here's one of the things that I have a big issue with, and there's lack of regulation within the Delta-8 extraction process.
For the hemp industry in general.
100%. I mean, how many heavy metals, pesticides are processed through that go into products that you consume?
Even in the cannabis side, though, not even just hemp.
Totally. And
Yeah.
you can tell. That's the one thing that's really, I mean, it's got getting lettuce, but it's got getting a salad, but you dump like a full cup of Thousand Island dressing on it. You're still going to get the good stuff in there, but it's got bad stuff too. But that's one thing. But when you're dealing with using acids and solvents to be able to extract the chemical that's psychoactive to kind of feel like what you experience on cannabis, on marijuana, that is a big issue for me. Most of them aren't lab tested. Most of them are contaminated in the Delta-8 space. We've tried Delta-8. Delta-8 feels like giving yourself the flu. For me...
Oh, it's a gross, dirty feeling.
It's not a good feeling.
It doesn't feel like cannabis to me. It's like, oh, okay, like Stranger Things, and you go into the like underside where everything's like the gross, creepy version of that world. It's like that, but with flower. You're using cannabis, but then the other side is Delta-8, Delta-9 THC that's not produced properly, because really every cannabis product is Delta-9 THC when you look at the actual compound. But, you know, your COA might say whatever, depending on the state you're in. So, but it really comes down to that, like, 2018 hemp farm bill that came out that just allowed this gray area of hemp products with lack of regulation, where we've got these gas station gummies and vape products and, you know, the wild west of this is cannabis, and yet it's really not. Like,
nope.
It might be from the sense of it all comes from a cannabis type plant, but this is so overly synthesized and altered that it's nowhere near the initial compound that you start out with. So your experience is never going to be even remotely close to that.
Well, and the health benefits too. I mean, we can say both sides. Is cannabis helpful? Is it not helpful? Yeah, there's a lot of evidence that shows that it's very helpful. There's some evidence that can show that it can be counterproductive, but that's going to be based on an individual basis. So each individual, you go first. Each individual basis is going to be based upon not just your genetic makeup, but your endocannabinoid system. And everybody's endocannabinoid system is different from the next. All mammals have that, right? But when they start to interact with these cannabinoids, including these fake cannabinoids, not necessarily fake, but these are just, they are fake because they're synthesized.
Yes, they're synthesized. They're not the real, well, no. Delta-8 THC is a naturally occurring
in extremely low
tiny
doses.
micro doses. So it is still a naturally occurring
You have
one.
to smoke a lot of hemp.
Or you wouldn't even really notice the feeling because it would be
hemp would nullify it.
so minuscule that all the other compounds, even like the Delta-9 THC within that, would be a higher percentage. So you'd probably feel more higher in a cleaner sense than the Delta-8 product.
Right.
But that's the interesting thing. Like in the short time, so it's 2018 till now. 2018,
Yeah, I was going to ask you, where did this start?
I don't know if we really had a lot of Delta-8 products right in 2018 when it first started. But over the 2020, 2021, 22, through there, we started to see a ton of those products come out.
You know why they came out?
Because they had extra isolate and they didn't know what to do with it. It was probably expiring or going bad. And they were figuring
it was a
out...
loophole in the Farm Bill.
Yeah.
So they were able to skirt past that. And, I mean, you're going to have really smart-ass people to go, oh, well, you could just do this, because they know
Yes,
that.
100%, because of science.
Ethnobotanists, chemists.
And going, oh, well, it's saying this compound is illegal. However, we could alter that compound one chemical trait and then sell it as that. Now, that one's not regulated or illegal anywhere. So we don't have any restrictions. And how many large companies came and went real fast of, well, we got these products and we sell them. We've already...
What was that one company? They used to have, like, advertisements everywhere. And it was, like, all these old couples, like, I like my pre-rolls. I get my gummies.
Oh, I don't know.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
It's like Magic or some fucking shit like that.
Something weird, yeah.
It was... I always just, like, it blew my mind. Every time I saw the advertisement,
Yeah.
I'm like, how are they getting away with this?
I know. It's ridiculous. Even the ones here that I see for Kush cubes. And it's like, oh, high without the THC. And they're selling them. And I swear, like, there's all sorts of stuff in there that you're like, what? What is this? Why is this in here? Already, we've got over 17 states in just the U.S. alone who have either banned or restricted Delta-8 because of the lack of regulation, the harm that's caused, just the experiences that people have from it.
Yeah, in California, I know you can only be able to buy it from actual dispensaries.
Oh, they sell Delta-8 there?
They sell Delta-8 there, but it's only through
Gross.
dispensaries. So you can't just buy it at a gas station, but that's the problem.
So there's some level of regulation probably behind that, hopefully, that
That's what they're trying to do there.
produces a cleaner
So
product.
but again, this is California.
Well,
this
'cause
is the Wild West of COAs.
We had talked about, before getting on to the show, that HHC company. Do you remember their name? They were on the show years ago.
These guys are extractors. They
Very-
build extraction plants.
Facilities, yeah.
Yeah.
Not for cannabis. They just started in
Anything.
other
chemical,
ones.
Yeah.
But they built this really clean product. The HHC was still a weird experience, but he brought a Delta-8 pen that they had extracted on
Oh,
at
you said
their
you didn't
facility.
mind that one.
Yeah, that pen itself, for being Delta-8, don't get me wrong, that would be like the cleanest one. Would I ever go buy one of those? No, because I still prefer the unsynthesized, unbastardized version of the plant, where it's clean, it's pure. Like, flower is still our favorite form. Yeah, we love concentrates. We still
Love
use
concentrates.
a dirty disty once in a blue moon or a live rosin
That's
pen
a
or
CO2
something.
extraction, and it's, I don't know, it comes from the plant that we use that has all the things in there that we want. It's not the it's not the Delta-8 that I want. It's the cannabinoids. It's the terpenes.
Yeah.
And that doesn't provide that. And all you get is a very dirty feeling.
Yeah.
It's just not good. It's not clean. Long-term use, people don't really enjoy it.
So
people complain about
these are the
headaches.
reported side effects, which is funny because I feel like it's kind of similar to cannabis, but it's nausea, confusion, paranoia, hallucinations, or even hospitalization. Now, hallucinations, I could imagine, is probably in dosing, just like anything else, because a lot of, like, if you go back to even early days of cannabis when they're like, oh, smoke this and you're going to see all this stuff. What in the fuck is that laced with?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like psychedelics, people tell you like, oh, I saw purple elephants and I saw laser light shit. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No,
I'm like,
didn't.
what in the world were you on? Because
no, you didn't.
there is no psychedelic that, granted, I am not a psychonaut of any massive
but
level.
Dipped a lot.
But I've dabbled, and I can say that I have done my fair share, and there's not been any experience where I have seen something that didn't exist.
Nope.
Or have seen something that wasn't there. The walls might have looked like they were breathing or moving, or the grass might have looked like it was flowing, or same with the carpet. Those types of things. But you're not, I never experienced.
No, and the thing, too, it's always in how you use it. That's the same, people will say, well, potheads are stupid, and they're unmotivated. And you know what
They're
I told those
lazy.
guys?
Yeah.
Shut up, man. You don't know me.
I thought about that the other day because I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, I've got time. And my brain always goes, Brandon, you need to be working on something. You need to be doing something. I'm like, I haven't played an instrument in years. I haven't touched
No, it's great.
an
You started playing
instrument
again.
in years. So the other day I sat down and I opened my piano. And well, because it's from the 40s and I haven't fully restored it, it goes out of tune pretty easy, I feel like. So I sat down and, well, I decided I wanted to learn a song, so I had to tune my piano first. So I pulled it out, and I was like, I don't do this that much, so I'm going to record this too. So I set up a camera and did all that, but stoners are lazy, right? So I made sure I was puffing on my pen as I'm doing all of this, and then I tune my piano, and then I sit down and I start playing and doing all of that. And I was like, interesting, stoners are lazy. But for me to just learn a song, I set up my camera, opened my piano, I pulled out all my tuning instruments, I pulled out my iPad, hooked up the microphone, and set the microphone down so I could get more accuracy on my tuning. I went one by one and got it digitally, and then played it by ear to fine-tune it past that. And just like, this is the level of lazy that comes from being a stoner.
But again, that's the same thing. It's part of the culture, and it's a culture that one's introduced to. And that's why even youth who rarely nowadays, not in the amounts that when I was a kid, like, if you got cannabis, there was a crowd of people that used it.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
Kids don't use them as much anymore. And this is the problem I have with Delta-8, because this is readily available. It comes in a gummy, real easy,
Yeah.
right? A drinkable,
Yep.
and cost effective. They're not extremely expensive. They're probably cheaper than your regular cannabis edibles in some places. Other places, comparable. But it's just something that I don't see as being a very good product. The reason why I look at certain things, why prohibition, now this isn't the only reason why prohibition was stopped, but do you know why prohibition, one of the big reasons why they were stopping it, is because of illegal liquor being made that was making people go blind or killing them because they didn't know what they were doing.
And it was unregulated, and it was just out everywhere. But that's the same thing.
It doesn't mean all the shit they made was bad.
But that's like the reason I feel like Delta-8 is not popular, but that it's purchased, is because most of the places that it's sold are in states that don't have access to regulated quality cannabis.
Right. You talked about Texas being one of those, right?
They have a over $3 billion industry
in hemp.
Because they don't have real cannabis.
But it's the same. I look at that as the same thing. Like, if you go into something where you're skirting the law, then maybe I would be one of those guys going, if I'm making a good Delta-8 product, I'm going to say, hey, this needs to be more regulated. Hey, we need to be selling it just like cannabis. If we're feeling these effects, it needs to be treated the same. That's the reason why it's not sold in Utah. It's not because of anything else. It's because it directly competes with the medical cannabis. And so they're like, nope, You can't use it. It's a medical cannabis state. If it was rec, it'd be different pretty much.
Oh, yeah, because rec's more free for all of what products are out.
And recreational to most of those very conservative Mormon white guys who are in office are like, no, idle hands are the devil's playpen.
Right. Well, do you think that Delta-8 would still exist if we had access to affordable quality products across, like, everywhere?
Well, that answers itself, because it's such a it's kind of funny. Like this reminds me of this conversation I had with this random person, and my niece is like, "Hey, you have a little bit of flour? They're just out. They're just waiting." I'm like, "Oh, no worries. I'll swing by." She lived real close to me. When I went over there and I met her husband, he's a truck driver, and so he can't use cannabis at all, but he loves it.
Yeah.
And he told me, he goes, when I tried it in college, I had served a Mormon mission. I'd done all these different things in my life.
Yeah.
And I was always told that it was bad. And I had roommates in college who were like, dude, you need to come smoke this with us. And he's like, he was really upset that they even asked. And finally, one time he's like, fine. Took a couple hits. And then seriously, 15 minutes later, he goes, why is this illegal? And that's the same thing. Like, if there was more of not just free for all, I totally believe in regulation, because if you don't, it's like somebody who's constantly, making food, but you don't know what it is, and they're selling it on the corner, and you keep buying it.
Well, it's because demand is high, but accessibility is not.
No.
And so that's why we have legacy market products. That's why we have Delta-8, Delta-9 THC, hemp products. Like, that's why these things exist, is because we don't have quality access to it. And they're going, man, we're not sure that we should legalize it. Well, you tell us that it's a massive problem with the black market. So is it a massive problem?
Stop the black
market? Is no one buying it? Because if no one's buying it, it's not a problem. If people are buying it, it means there's interest in there. There's interest in cannabis because they notice what? Probably because it helps with something.
Yeah, and who you're going to find? You're not going to find like these hardcore drug dealers or anything like that. You're going to find some hippie chick deep in the woods named Cinnamon, and she is making her own shit out there. She's got her tinctures. Yeah. She's got cool edibles. She's got infused honey, because she knows that this is the best way to be able to use the plant. That's pretty much your people who are buying that, because the prices to equal out to some of the medicinal use. I find that people who use medicinally create their own products. They create their own tinctures. They create their own edibles.
Yeah,
because
often.
they need them on demand.
Well, and they know that the dosing doesn't exist oftentimes in either the product that they need or the dose they need. And so they have to really create their own, because it's like what exists out there in the market is built for a great consumer base, but it's not always niche crafted down to the specific consumer.
And you have to realize, too, that these products, I do feel for those people who are in those states where it is so strict and you are very frightened to use any cannabis, which I totally understand that. And Delta-8's the only thing being sold there. I get it. I totally get it.
It's what you have access to.
But if I came into a place where all they serve is grain alcohol, no beer, I'm going to find a bunch of alcoholics. I'm going to find a bunch of ill people. And there's not just the extraction process alone makes me worried that somebody is going to mess something up, because now you're changing the chemical makeup when you introduce those things. There are things that are introduced for cannabis. That's why we call them dirty disties. They're not the same as the plant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to figure out, but when you keep the raw plant, if you go back to the raw plant, what's the raw plant? Where's it coming from? It's coming from hemp. It's coming from CBD. So there's a reason why that is not psychoactive. There's a big reason why. It's actually counterbalances a lot of the times the psychoactive effects. So I just find it funny. It's like when people have a big problem with gummies looking too close to like nerd ropes.
Yep.
I agree. I don't think you should be getting a 500 milligram single edible. I don't think you should get a 1,000 milligram cookie. I think that's ridiculous.
I think it depends on dose. I think that needs to be strictly on the medical side, because
that's hard to justify.
It is, and there are very few people who would actually need it, because I haven't told anyone this. No, I have been lowering my dose on edibles.
I've actually noticed that.
Because there was a time that I was working with my dad, and I had 250 milligrams, and I stood up, and I just felt really, really weird and lightheaded. And
your blood pressure.
And for me, I don't have that. That doesn't happen. And I don't feel weird with edibles usually. And that was only on 250 milligrams. So the next time, I took 100. And I was like, oh, hey. But now my problem is I can do that at the beginning of the bag, but by the end of the 5th time that I've used it, 100 milligrams won't do it. My body acclimates to that delta or 11-hydroxy THC so quick.
Have you experimented with eating fats before you consume and seeing if that
not particularly
helps to elongate that?
Sometimes I do it with because
you're so skinny, dude.
Yeah, I know.
The cannabis just goes through your system. I don't even think you would test positive on a piss test.
Oh, I would, just because it's constantly
the metabolites.
And even though I don't have many fat cells, there's probably still a handful of them within my body.
And earlobes.
Yeah, those 5 fat cells and in my head. So those 5 fat cells, basically, they would hold it for some amount of time. And there's never a day that I'm not consuming, because there's never a day that I'm not hurting. So
it's been wonderful for me during tapering off of testosterone.
Yeah.
That's a whole other episode. But anyways,
yeah. We'll have to get into that.
It's been really good. It's been by far one of the best ways to help with the anxiety, the panic attacks.
Yeah.
And the changing of your body regulating. But to pull it back to where we were, it's just, I understand. And you brought up something that made me really think about it. There are a lot of people that make really good money for themselves and for other people creating these types of products. Perfectly fine. I understand that. I think that's awesome that you're employing people. I know that you people aren't nefarious. You saw an opportunity and you went for it. The only thing is that I see Delta-8 products a lot like this one product that came out a little while, probably 10 years ago, maybe even longer. But it was this little device that you could buy for your car. And you know how windshield wiper blades are every year, you gotta get new ones.
Yep.
Well, they have this cool little device where you just slid it along and it just cut off a strip of rubber. Bingo bango, you have a new windshield wiper. Oh my goodness. And a shitload of these sold. Probably a lot of scratched windshields too from that, because you do know that rubber is set to an exact height so it doesn't scrape your windshield.
Yeah, right.
So a bunch of people bought this and it destroyed their cars. Okay?
Their windshields are all just...
This is how I see Delta-8.
Yep.
Something is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it probably already has. People go, oh yeah, well, that's happened on cannabis. Yeah, when you take too much and you didn't know what you were doing. Hey, your body's gonna act differently. If you overdrink water, you'll drown.
Yep. Would you buy something labeled cow-derived meat if it wasn't regulated by the FDA?
I don't know. I've eaten food in Mexico.
So have I.
I mean, I know they'd be like, no, we keep it very clean. No, you don't, dude. Come on. I've been... No. But, I mean, it's been a while.
Do you feel like Delta-8 is solving prohibition? Or is it just replacing it with a new...
It's causing a prohibition.
Kind of risk.
It's causing a prohibition of cannabis in places where it should be legalized. The problem that it comes with it isn't necessarily religious overtones. It's just cultural.
It's fear. It's cultural fear that's been passed down. Because it's not one religion.
Because the darkies used to use it, and you will be a darkie. It's all been
perpetuated in politics,
and
which
racism.
pushed into religion, which was in everything at a time.
It was justified by using religion to make sure that it can be outlawed.
Yeah, this is bad.
And, because, anybody with darker skin than white, well, they're obviously evil. So, these religions...
You read the Book of Mormon.
All of them, dude, a lot of them. But they propagated this entire thing, and now what? Now you've got people creating a product that can be harmful. It's not going to feel the same.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not going to give you the same medicinal properties.
same quality of experience. There is no entourage effect when you have a super isolated compound.
It's like somebody telling me there's really healthy alcohol. Yeah, somebody's going to tell me, oh, wine, if you drink it, is it wine or is it the properties in the grapes? You're still, it's a slippery slope either way you go.
Yeah, it
It's
really
either way
is.
you go.
If you guys are in a state where Delta-8 and hemp are regulated, like hemp products are all that you have access to, drop it below. Let us know where you guys are at, and
How
let's
your
get
experiences are with
your
Delta-8.
senators on board with legalizing stuff that is better for everyone.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care.